Bushnell Craft. We have a 3-day weekend, and this weekend we're going to make some tap handles. Alright, so we're back in the shop here. I just got my printout of the full-scale template that we'll use later. Luckily here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest and Seattle area, our Home Depot carries multiple hardwoods, dimensional stocks, so that's what we'll use. Got some maple, some walnut, some poplar, some mahogany, and then a little bit more maple just because it's one of my favorite woods. But what we're going to use for this build here is we're going to use some maple, and we'll use some walnut like we showed in the SketchUp file. So I'll set these things aside, and we'll get over to the table saw and see what we can rip down. The walnut from our template here needs to be 1-inch strips, and then the maple is going to be 3/4, and we'll sandwich that together. So if we can get it all glued up, then tomorrow we can come out after I build a template, probably later today as well. We'll come out tomorrow and we'll cut it all down and make some plates, glue it all up, and by the end of the weekend I'll be able to round this all off and drill a hole, and I've got the hardware inside, so we should be able to have a tap handle ready to go by the end of the weekend. So we'll see what we can get done. I have my maple, have my saw set up to just above 3/4. Got it set to 3/4 on my guide, and then I tested it, so we're ready to run the maple. Here you have it, 4 of the centers. It's enough to make, when I cut these in half, that should be about 8 tap handles. You can see I burned a little bit of it. I think my saw's a little out of kilter, and I'll probably have to adjust that at another later time. All the move and stuff, we've kind of bumped this stuff around quite a bit. So anyway, I made 4 of those, so that's enough for 8. I'll cut the walnut next. Alright, so I've got the fence moved over. I set it to 1 inch because these are going to be wider. So we're going to do 1-inch blocks on this. And we'll strip this to about the same, maybe get 2, maybe 3 out of here to make these up. So since this is just a proof of concept one, I decided just to make 1 for now. We'll strip these down and glue them up. That way I can at least make 1. Make sure that we're going in the right direction, we like it before I cut up too much lumber. Pretty sure this is the model we're going to go with, but just in case. Plus it really would be a good idea for me to fix that saw up so we get a smoother cut. Okay, back over here at the radial arm saw, I'm going to cut these down to 12 inches, so we have a little bit more. Our total length of our project is 11 inches, so I'm going to cut those to rough size at this point. I've got a little stop block there right at 12 inches. Make sure we get that spot on. We're good. Let's cut some wood. There we go. Got them all cut up. Saw, another thing in the move, the switch on the saw here broke, so I had to jerry-rig something up, but we'll get that fixed up in a later video as well. So there you go. I have enough for our first tap handle. Just going to sheet over. Let me see how that'll lay on there. It should be able to create that just fine. I don't have the top plates yet, but we'll just concentrate on getting this glued up today. And then we'll build these, and then we'll glue those up as well. Alright, before we glue these up, we want to make a pass here at the joiner. Get those edges all cleaned up. You can see some rough marks. That's the nice clean edge. So we'll do that next. Alright, back over here because I don't have my workbench, but got everything jointed. So we got nice clean edges on these. We can glue it up. So got a bunch of little clamps that will go on the end. We'll probably sandwich a couple of these in here just to keep it flush and parallel. Let's get to gluing. This is all glued up. I mean, that's plenty. I know everybody tends to want to have 27 clamps on there, but I think these 4 are more than enough for this little thing. So I got lots of glue, a little run out on each side. I spread in really good. I think we're good to let this dry up for the day, and I'll get on making the template. Okay, so I want to rough cut this out so I can glue this to a piece of hardboard. I'll take it over to the belt sander or disc sander, I haven't decided. And I'll true this all up. We'll have a pretty cool little template. So we got a little close there. on here, and I'll trim it down with the saws, and then we'll go over and we'll get it really flush, and we'll be good to go. I got some rubber cement here, that should do it. I want to do it on this side because I'm going to be able to write what the template is on this chalkboard material, so let's glue it up there. Alright, actually went and used regular old Elmer's glue to glue that down. So we'll let that set up for just a little bit. I'll go grab a bite to eat and come back and we'll trim this all down, get a nice clean edge, and that will be the template that we lay on top of our blank over there. And then we'll run that around the router, have a perfect form every time. Then it's just a matter of rounding it down on the router, drilling a hole, and we're about got it. Alright, that looks pretty good. That dried up really well. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but we're just trying to get this as an edge, you know, so we have an edge, you know, way to line that up on the sander. So I'm gonna trim it down here a little bit on the radial arm, and then I'll go over to the belt sand or the disc sander, and we'll get it perfectly clean, and this will be ready to be clamped on. Alright, so there you go. Got it trimmed up on the radial arm, just kind of cleaned up a little bit. We'll take it over to the disc sander, and we'll get it right to those edges. Then this will be the template that we run the router around, cut them out. Although I'll probably use the radial arm saw to trim up the boards as well. Then we'll use a long straight bit for the router, and then around over on the two edges, and drill a hole, and we got a tap handle. So, all right, looks like we are dried up, and let's see if we can't sand this thing flat. Have it. Template. Good, ready to go. Right on the back here what it is for, in case this ever wears off. And that we'll put on the top and run around a router, and we'll repeat this over and over.